Have you ever noticed how certain people seem to drain your energy, cloud your judgment, or stir up unnecessary conflict, leaving you feeling exhausted and unsettled? Maybe it's a colleague who constantly complains, a friend who twists your words, or a family member who refuses to take responsibility for their actions. These are the toxic people, those whose presence subtly and sometimes overtly disrupts your peace and hinders your growth. But here's the truth. Recognizing the warning signs of toxicity in your relationships isn't just important, it's essential for preserving your mental clarity, emotional strength, and overall well-being. In a world filled with constant social interactions, it's almost impossible to avoid people who carry these negative traits. But how you respond to them, how you protect your inner calm, and how you choose your associations can make all the difference. This is where the ancient wisdom of Stoicism shines brighter than ever. The Stoics taught us not to be slaves to external forces, including toxic individuals, but to cultivate an inner fortress of reason, virtue, and tranquility. Today, we're going to uncover the 9 red flags, the clear warning signs that someone in your life might be toxic to your mind and spirit. But we won't stop there. We'll explore these signs through the lens of Stoic philosophy, learning how to maintain your composure, set healthy boundaries, and make wise choices about who you allow into your circle. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by negativity, manipulation, or drama, or simply want to protect your peace and foster healthier connections, this conversation is for you. By the end, you'll be equipped not only to spot these red flags, but to respond with clarity, strength, and wisdom. So, if you're ready to take control of your social environment, safeguard your tranquility, and walk the Stoic path of virtue amidst life's challenges, let's begin. Let's start by looking closely at the first warning sign of toxic people: consistent negativity and complaining. Have you ever been around someone who seems to find a problem in everything, who can't see the silver lining no matter how bright the day? Their constant negativity isn't just draining, it clouds your own thoughts and colors your perception of reality. The Stoics teach us that our impressions, the thoughts and judgments we hold, have a profound impact on our peace of mind. When you let another person's relentless complaining seep into your awareness, it's like letting a fog settle over your clarity. The Stoics would urge you to guard your mind carefully. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that external events, including other people's words, are beyond his control. What matters is how he chooses to interpret and respond to them. When you're faced with chronic negativity, the first step is recognizing it as an external impression that you don't have to accept as truth. You can choose not to internalize the complaint or the gloom. Dealing with chronic complainers requires boundaries. You don't have to engage or absorb their despair. Sometimes a simple mental shift, reminding yourself that their words reflect their own struggles and are not a reflection of reality, can help maintain your tranquility. Other times, it might mean limiting your time around them or redirecting conversations to more constructive topics. Remember, the Stoics were not callous. They understood compassion, but also recognized the importance of protecting their inner citadel. You can offer kindness without sacrificing your peace. By recognizing persistent negativity as a red flag, you prevent it from becoming a toxic influence on your mind. Now, onto the second warning sign: manipulation and control. Some people, consciously or not, try to steer your thoughts, feelings, or actions for their own benefit. This manipulation can be subtle, gaslighting, guilt-tripping, or constant persuasion, or more overt demands and control. From a Stoic viewpoint, autonomy is sacred. Epictetus taught that true freedom comes from within, the ability to govern your own mind and choices, regardless of external pressures. When someone attempts to manipulate you, they threaten this inner freedom. Identifying manipulation requires awareness. Do you find yourself constantly doubting your own judgments because of what someone else says? Do you feel pressured to act against your values or better judgment? These are warning signs. Stoicism offers strategies to resist such control. Firmly anchoring yourself in your own reason and virtue is the first defense. When you know what you stand for and trust your judgment, manipulation loses its grip. Setting clear boundaries, communicating what you will and won't accept, is crucial. Moreover, practicing detachment from others' opinions and demands protects your inner freedom. Remember, the Stoics teach that you cannot control others, only your own responses. By focusing on this truth, you reclaim power from manipulators. Dealing with manipulation isn't about confrontation or conflict necessarily. It's about maintaining mental sovereignty, choosing to respond with reason, not reaction. Recognizing these tactics early is key to preventing toxic control from undermining your well-being. Together, these first two red flags, constant negativity and manipulation, highlight the importance of vigilance in protecting your mental peace. The Stoics encourage us to remain aware, set boundaries, and cultivate inner strength so that the toxic influence of others cannot penetrate our fortress of reason and virtue. Next, we'll explore the third warning sign, lack of accountability. This is a trait that can quietly erode relationships and drain your emotional energy. Now, let's turn our attention to the fourth warning sign, emotional volatility and drama. Have you ever been around someone whose moods swing wildly, whose reactions seem disproportionate, or whose presence often stirs up conflict and chaos? This kind of emotional turbulence doesn't just affect them, it destabilizes everyone nearby. The Stoics taught us that true strength lies in maintaining inner calm regardless of external turmoil. When you encounter people whose unpredictable emotions disrupt your peace, it's a red flag signaling potential toxicity. Emotional volatility often feeds on attention and control. These individuals might escalate situations to draw focus or manipulate feelings. For you, the challenge is to resist being pulled into this whirlpool of drama. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself to keep his mind like a calm lake, undisturbed by the ripples on the surface. How do you do this? First, by cultivating your own emotional regulation. When someone acts out, remind yourself that their emotions are theirs, not yours. You don't have to absorb or mirror their instability. Practicing mindfulness and detachment can create a buffer, allowing you to respond with reason rather than react impulsively. Second, set boundaries around engagement. You might choose to limit time spent with highly volatile individuals or avoid participating in dramatic cycles. Stoicism teaches us to value tranquility. Your inner peace is a precious resource worth protecting. Remember, responding with calmness and patience often diffuses drama more effectively than confrontation. By holding steady, you model emotional strength and avoid becoming entangled in toxic patterns. Now, moving on to the fifth warning sign, disrespect and lack of empathy. Respect is foundational to healthy relationships. When someone consistently dismisses your feelings, disregards your boundaries, or treats you unfairly, it's a serious red flag. The Stoics prize justice and fairness as core virtues. To live virtuously means to treat others with fairness and kindness, acknowledging their humanity and dignity. When faced with disrespect, the wise respond not with retaliation, but with clear recognition and firm boundaries. If someone shows a pattern of ignoring your feelings or crossing your limits, it's essential to assert yourself calmly and clearly. Stoicism encourages speaking truth to power, with honesty but without anger. You might say, "I deserve to be heard and respected," or "that behavior is not acceptable to me." At the same time, understand that empathy requires effort and cannot be forced. If a person is unwilling to meet you halfway, it's wise to reconsider how much influence they have in your life. Protecting your inner tranquility means sometimes distancing yourself from those who consistently disrespect you. By embracing the Stoic virtue of justice internally, you not only stand up for yourself, but also cultivate relationships grounded in mutual respect. This strengthens your social circle and preserves your peace. Together, emotional volatility and disrespect can create an environment toxic to your growth and well-being. Recognizing these signs and responding with stoic calm and firm boundaries empowers you to maintain control over your mental and emotional space. Next, we'll discuss the sixth warning sign, gossip and backstabbing, and why integrity matters so deeply in healthy relationships. Now let's discuss the sixth warning sign, gossip and backstabbing. There's something corrosive about hearing whispers behind your back or realizing that someone you trusted is undermining you. Gossip and betrayal not only damage relationships, but also poison your mental space. The Stoics held honesty and integrity as pillars of a virtuous life. When you encounter deceit or betrayal, it's a clear red flag indicating toxicity. The danger of gossip lies not only in the spreading of false or harmful information, but also in how it fosters distrust and division. It's a subtle weapon that can destabilize your social environment and sow seeds of doubt in your mind. The Stoics advise that you remain vigilant about the company you keep and the conversations you engage in. When you find yourself in the orbit of gossip, the Stoic response is to withdraw from such exchanges and avoid participating. Upholding your own integrity means refusing to spread rumors or entertain negativity about others. This protects your own character and keeps your mind free from unnecessary disturbance. If someone betrays your trust, Stoicism teaches acceptance, not in the sense of passivity, but in recognizing what you can and cannot control. You cannot control others' actions, only your response. You can choose to forgive if it serves your peace, or to distance yourself if necessary. Either way, keep your judgment clear and your heart steady. Remember, integrity is a refuge. When you build relationships based on honesty and respect, you surround yourself with people who uplift rather than undermine you. This kind of community nourishes your growth and preserves your tranquility. Moving to the seventh warning sign, an excessive need for validation. Some people constantly seek approval, praise, or reassurance to feel worthy. While it's natural to desire connection and acceptance, an unhealthy dependence on external validation can become draining and manipulative. The Stoics teach us to find our worth within, grounded in virtue and reason rather than others' opinions. When you encounter someone who incessantly seeks to be validated at your expense, perhaps by fishing for compliments, playing the victim, or manipulating emotions, it's a warning sign. Dealing with such individuals requires firm boundaries and emotional detachment. Recognize that their need for approval reflects their inner insecurity, not your value. Maintain your own sense of self-worth independent of their demands. You can also model internal validation by showing calm confidence and not being swayed by their emotional bids. This encourages healthier dynamics and protects your mental energy. It's important to remember that true validation comes from living according to your values, not external applause. By embracing this Stoic truth, you empower yourself and gently challenge those caught in the cycle of external dependence. Together, gossip, betrayal, and excessive need for validation illustrate the deep impact of integrity and self-respect in relationships. Cultivating these within yourself and recognizing their absence in others helps you build a social environment conducive to your well-being and growth. Next, we'll explore the eighth warning sign, boundary violations and how protecting your inner citadel is a Stoic imperative. Now let's turn to the eighth warning sign, boundary violations. Boundaries are the invisible walls that protect your mental, emotional, and physical well-being. When someone consistently disrespects these limits, whether by demanding too much of your time, invading your privacy, or dismissing your needs, they signal a toxic presence in your life. The Stoics taught that self-respect and discipline are essential to maintaining your inner citadel. Marcus Aurelius wrote about keeping your mind free from intrusion and preserving your tranquility at all costs. When others violate your boundaries, they threaten this peace. Recognizing boundary violations begins with self-awareness. Pay attention to how certain interactions make you feel: drained, resentful, anxious. These feelings often indicate your limits are being crossed. Don't ignore or minimize these signals. Stoicism empowers you to assert your boundaries calmly and clearly. You don't need to be harsh or confrontational. Simply state your limits with honesty and firmness. For example, "I need some time to myself right now," or "I'm not comfortable discussing this topic." This clarity protects your well-being and sets expectations. Remember, setting boundaries is an act of courage and self-love, not selfishness. It sends a message that you value your own peace and won't tolerate harmful interference. If someone repeatedly ignores your boundaries despite your efforts, the Stoic approach is to reconsider their role in your life. Your tranquility and virtue are paramount, and sometimes that means creating distance from those who persistently disrespect you. By protecting your boundaries, you reinforce your mental fortress and nurture relationships built on mutual respect and understanding. This practice is essential for maintaining your stability amidst life's challenges. Moving on to the 9th and final warning sign: a consistent toxic influence on your well-being. This is the culmination of all the previous signs. When a person's presence repeatedly leaves you feeling worse, drained, anxious, confused, or disrespected, it's a clear indication that their impact is harmful. The Stoics placed immense value on preserving your peace of mind. Seneca advised choosing your associations carefully because the company you keep shapes your character. If someone consistently undermines your well-being, no matter how close or important they seem, it's wise to reevaluate their place in your life. This doesn't mean severing ties impulsively or without reflection. The Stoic path calls for measured judgment, assessing the nature of the relationship, your own role, and possible avenues for repair. Sometimes toxic dynamics can improve through honest communication and boundaries. However, when toxicity persists despite your best efforts, detachment is necessary. This may mean limiting contact, seeking support, or in extreme cases, ending the relationship. Your own mental and emotional health must come first. Stoicism teaches that your ultimate responsibility is to live a life of virtue and tranquility. Protecting yourself from toxic influences is not only wise but essential to this goal. By consciously choosing who you allow near your mind and heart, you safeguard your inner citadel. In this way, recognizing and responding to toxic patterns is an act of courage, wisdom, and self-respect, the very virtues the Stoics celebrated. It's not always easy, but it's vital for your growth and peace. Together, these 9 red flags and the Stoic responses offer a roadmap to navigating relationships wisely. By cultivating awareness, setting boundaries, and prioritizing your well-being, you build resilience against toxicity and create space for healthier connections. Next, we'll bring it all together with a conclusion that empowers you to take ownership of your social environment and live with the clarity and peace of a true Stoic. As we bring everything together, it's important to recognize that identifying these red flags is only the first step. The true Stoic challenge and opportunity is in how you respond. Stoicism teaches us that external events, including the behavior of others, are beyond our full control. What we can control, however, is our own judgment, actions, and attitude. When you encounter toxicity, the Stoic approach is to maintain your inner fortress of reason and virtue. This means practicing emotional resilience, not allowing yourself to be drawn into reactive patterns, and responding with calm clarity. You have the power to choose detachment, not coldness, but a wise distance that preserves your peace. Setting and enforcing boundaries is an act of courage and self-respect. It's a statement that your well-being matters and that you will not tolerate harm. Remember, boundaries protect your ability to live according to your values and maintain tranquility. Sometimes this means making difficult decisions about whom you keep close. The Stoics remind us that our associations shape our character and influence our happiness. Choose wisely. Surround yourself with people who inspire virtue, encourage growth, and respect your boundaries. At the same time, exercise compassion both for yourself and others. Toxicity often stems from pain, fear, or ignorance. Recognize this, but don't let it excuse harmful behavior. Compassion balanced with wisdom guides your actions. Maintaining your peace amidst toxic people is not a passive act. It requires vigilance, self-discipline, and continuous reflection. Marcus Aurelius regularly reminded himself to return to his principles whenever faced with challenges, and you can do the same. So, take ownership of your social environment. Become an active gardener, tending your circle with care. Weed out what harms and nurture what supports your growth. This is not only essential for your mental health, but also a Stoic practice in living a life of virtue and tranquility. In closing, remember that you have the power to choose how you engage with the world. Toxic people are inevitable, but they need not dictate your inner life. By recognizing these red flags, responding with wisdom and boundaries, and cultivating your own strength, you build a life that remains unshaken. Embrace this path with courage and patience. The journey to peace and virtue is ongoing, but each step you take strengthens your mind and spirit. You are the guardian of your tranquility, the architect of your character. Walk forward with confidence and clarity, knowing that true freedom lies within. Thank you for committing your time to this vital conversation. May you find peace, wisdom, and strength as you navigate your relationships and cultivate the life you deserve.